good evening to you. My name's Wayne. I am the Lone Cybertronian. So thank you very much for joining me today. This is going to be the second half of the Paradron Medics. So as I said in the previous review, today we're going to be looking at Ratchet. So essentially this figure is Earthrise Ironhide with Ratchet bits. Nice figure, not perfect, but a good representation of Ratchet, and I'm pleased I now have a Earthen Ratchet and a Cybertronian Ratchet from the Bumblebee line. So that's going to be good to get into. Here we go, time to start stamping the video. I've just done a load of pre-orders on in-demand toys as the Wave 2 Legacy stuff has just been revealed. So Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus has gone onto my pre-order, as has Straxus, Tarantulas and the new Elita 1. There were others that I wanted. I've seen Motormaster now and he's a damn nice figure. He's quite expensive, but I don't know if I want him yet, simply because I don't know if I'm going to do the full combiner. So we'll see on that one. But anyway, I digress. Today's about Ratchet, so that's where we're going to go. So how does Earthrise Ratchet, as he is, compare with his teammate Lifeline? Let's have a little look, shall we? Alright, there we go. So here is Ratchet in his robot mode, obviously, and he's a very nice representation of Ratchet, looking very G1-esque, as most of the War for Cybertron guys tend to. Clearly identifiable, different head from Ironhide as well. He's got obviously the crest going on, which is quite nice. Pure white with a little bit of red, so colour scheme is undoubtedly Ratchet, and obviously the great big blue windscreen across the middle. He looks really nice. He's obviously a retool of Siege Ironhide, which wasn't a bad mould to start with, if a little bit simple. But to make it Ratchet, it's got a few additional odds and ends. So let's have a little look at those in a moment or two. But first I'm going to go through his actual posability. So real quick, head is on a ball joint, plenty of that. Arms in, out, forward, back, shake it all about, the usual thing. We do have a bicep swivel and an elbow coming out at around 90 degrees. Wrists don't go anywhere, unfortunately, but there is a wrist swivel apparently, or even a wrist swivel. So we've got one of those. That's awesome. We do have a waist swivel, kind of creaky, but it is there. Legs are going out to the sides, forward and back, nice and easy for miles. Out to the sides there. We've got knees that go back, and then we've got his great big clod-hopping feet, which don't go forwards and backwards, but actually come out side to side, so you can pose him pretty well. I just noticed as well, some of the detailing on him is actually really nice. It gets washed out in the white, but he does have some really nice details on parts of him, as you can see. I don't have the Earthrise Ironhide. In fact, I don't even have Siege Ironhide. I bought the Crosshairs version instead, because I already had an Ironhide when I did Combiner Wars, so I didn't bother getting the updated version. But yeah, it is quite a nice version. Plenty of holes and stuff for weapons, as they tend to do with the War for Cybertron guys. And it comes with a couple of accessories, so if you've got Earthrise Ironhide, then you'll be familiar with these. So it comes with a little blaster pistol kind of thing, reminiscent of the G1 laser that came with the original. And then he also comes with a massive bit of kibble. So this is essentially the top of his ambulance mode. Now you've got a couple of options with this. It can stand alone as a little sled, which is obviously what the original Ratchet and Ironhide had when the back of their vehicle mode converted, so I'm not sure which way up you are supposed to have it. I'd imagine it's going to be that way, and so it just kind of sits like that, which is one way of doing it. Oh, and you can slide the thrusters at the back out as well. So you've got that option with it, and I think he can actually stand on it, if I'm thinking right, because he's got the holes in his feet, so you can stand on it as like a surfboard kind of thing, or you can mount the gun on it. It could be like a little bit of a weapons platform. Not the most impressive thing in the world though, to be honest. The configuration I quite like though is by folding these in, you can then use it as a rather large shield. Now I am planning on getting the new Ironhide repaint, or was it Guard? The black one, so it's like the Diaclone version, and I do intend on having him equipped with this as a shield. So, you know, rather than Ratchet, as it is with Ratchet, I'm going to keep this on his back as just part of his robot mode, but that's what I'm going to do with Guard. I'm just going to basically equip it like that as a shield, something like that, as it fits the name. But yeah, when I have it as Ratchet, I'm just going to keep it plugged onto the back like that, where it's out of the way, and it doesn't create a huge backpack. It just looks like, you know, the roof of a vehicle mode that hasn't folded up or anything like that. So, you know, I've seen worse kibble. But yeah, anyway, there's Ratchet in his robot mode. I really like the look of him. No real weaknesses in this mode, I don't think apart from the obvious roof kibble there. But as I said, I mean, that's up to you whether you find that offensive or not. So that's the robot mode all done. What's the ambulance mode looking like? Well, that's an ambulance, alright. Let's have a look. So, yep, clearly that's an ambulance for Ratchet's alt mode. Transformation is very, very similar to Earthrise? No. Siege Ironhide or Siege Crosshairs. It's the same kind of thing, except you've now got an additional plate that drops on top to form the roof of the ambulance, which is fine, you know, whatever. The wheels roll, so, you know, it's an ambulance, you know. The weapons, obviously you can see that the shield thing just stores as one whole piece. You've got the windows that fold out there and there, and the gun actually does store inside the roof here. However, you can keep it separate and plug it on the top if you really want an armed ambulance. Just might plug into the light bar as well. Yep, it does. The light bar is actually the same one that came with Barricade, I think, except it's got tabs on the ends of the light bar now rather than the post in the middle. There you go, there's a weird little fact for you. Now, the transform is fine, but I mentioned that this guy had got flaws, and it's in the transform more than anything, apart from obviously the massive feet sticking out the back end of his ambulance mode, which they could have probably done something a bit better with. But, you know, there they are. I know there are kits available where you can disguise them a little bit better, but, you know, on the normal version, there they are. But the big issue I've got, this may just be my copy, but it's these hinges here on both sides. When you transform him, you're having to fold these up, and sod's law, that one's decided to stay this time. But generally speaking, when you're trying to get the legs, there you go, and that one just came out then without any force. I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like the plastic's actually bent a little bit. Nothing that can't be remedied with a hairdryer and some patience, but it just looks like it's bent out of shape. And you know, there's tabs, there's holes for the tabs for the panel, but it just feels really flaky and loose. But I think that might be a singular copy version as opposed to like a general mass release issue. My only real other whinge, minor as it is the lack of painted windows. So you can clearly see the blue there, and then it just turns into a white window, and then there's another white window there at the back. And it's like, well, you could have done something, and I wouldn't have actually minded these being painted blue, solid blue, and have those blue as well. That would have looked better, rather than just having a couple of see-through windows where all you can see is his robot head in there, and then the white windows at the back. So, but then I suppose real ambulances don't tend to have windows, so you know, maybe just a bit of a change in sculpting there. Who knows? But those are my only real gripes. I mean, it's clearly an ambulance, you know, and maybe the stripes don't come up as far as they should. But it's all very, very minor. It's a solid vehicle mode. It's not going to go anywhere. And he does transform okay, apart from, as I say, those hinges, which are a little bit odd. But generally speaking, he's quite a good figure. In saying that, I think I still prefer Lifeline, if I'm really honest, even though with the problem I have with the post. As a figure, I think actually I still quite like her, even though she shell forms to death. There's just something about that figure that I really like. But that's not to say that I dislike Ratchet here, I just prefer her out of the two. But they do make a really nice double set, and I was really, really pleased to get a hold of them, especially because Siege Ratchet was really difficult to get a hold of in the UK. I don't think I've ever actually seen one in the flesh. and obviously because I'd got the mould as crosshairs anyway, I wasn't that interested in getting another version of the same mould in the same colours, but to actually get a different version with the roof. I know obviously I've said I'm getting the guard version of this, so you know, I was kind of going back on my own thing, but I don't know, it's just something that really appeals about that black ironhide. And I'm a sucker for diacloners as well, because I've got obviously Tiger Tracks, he's on my shelf, as well as Spin Out and Cordon, who I've already reviewed. So you know, I'm a bit of a sucker for the diaclone repaints. Anyway, I'm going to cease my waffling. Thank you very much for joining me for this review this evening. Tomorrow and Thursday, with any luck, I'm going to head back to Studio Series for the 86 movie. I've got a couple of figures that I've wanted to review for a while now, and it's about time I did them. So tomorrow and Thursday, hopefully if I can get them out, we'll get those two done, and then we'll see what the Easter weekend brings us. So thanks for joining me, and as usual, requests, remarks, comments, feedback, anything, all greatly appreciated. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have got to say so far about the channel. I am trying to grow it, I am trying to push things, but obviously without knowing what to do different, I can't really do a lot. So believe me, any comments are worth it, good, bad or ugly. So anyway, thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you on the next one.